When Alex Mercer and his mother moved into the crooked house at the edge of Grimsby Lane, all he could think about was escape. The house was a faded grey Victorian relic, with wood that creaked like it carried centuries of secrets. After the father had passed away, his mom said they needed a fresh start. She called the old house charming. Alex called it rotting. The movers didn't stay long. One of them muttered something about the place being wrong under his breath before speeding away in his truck. That first night, it rained hard. The wind howled through cracked windows, and the floorboards moaned with every gust, as though we hated being disturbed. Alex lay on his creaky bed, the ceiling fan barely spinning, when he heard it tap tap whisper. He sat up. The sound had come from under the floor. He pressed his ear to the wooden boards. Faint but unmistakably whispering voice, muffled and dry, like someone speaking through soil. He buried her right here. Alex jumped back. What the hell? He ran to his mom's room. Did you hear that? He asked, breathless. She looked up from her unpacked suitcase. Hear what? There's someone under the house. She smiled tiredly. It's just the pipes, baby. This house is old. Everything makes noise. But Alex knew that wasn't pipes. Pipes didn't whisper names. The next day, Alex explored the attic. Dust clung to every surface like spiderwebs, and old boxes lined the walls. One box was labeled, Harris Family -1961. He opened it. Inside were black and white photographs, a child's ragdoll with a missing eye, and a torn letter. I keep hearing her at night, under the floor. I told father, but he slapped me and said never to speak of her again. But I know what I heard. I know what he did. It wasn't signed, but at the bottom, scrawled in pencil, were 3 words, below, beneath, blood. Alex felt cold rush down his spine. That night, the whispers returned. Clearer this time. He never confessed. She's still here. Help me. Alex didn't sleep. At dawn, he crept to the living room and pulled up the corner of the rug. The wood beneath was darker in one patch, almost black. He tapped it. Hollow. He pried it open with a crowbar from the garage. Beneath was a crawl space, dirt, cold air, and something else. A bone. Small. Human. Too small. Alex reeled backward. Gagging. When he turned around, a shadow stood in the hallway. A girl soaking wet, hair covering her face, and her feet not touching the ground. She whispered, not with her mouth but inside his head, "You found me." Then she vanished, and the floorboards groaned as if the house breathed. Alex didn't tell his mom what he found beneath the floor. Not about the whispers, not the bone, and especially not the girl. But that night, as he lay in bed, too afraid to close his eyes, he heard something new, scraping, like fingernails against wood. Then the whisper returned, "Bring him to me." The next morning, Alex dug deeper into the Harris family. A trip to the town's dusty library uncovered an old newspaper from 1961. Local girl disappears, case goes cold. 70-year-old Lily Harris vanished from her home on Grimsby Lane. Her father, Charles Harris, claimed she ran away during a storm. No body was ever found. Alex's hands trembled as he turned the page. Another article 5 years later. Charles Harris dies in house fire. Sources say he was alone. Authorities found charred wood put and a cellar door nailed shut from the outside. Alex returned home and stood over the floorboards. "Lily," he whispered, "is that you?" No answer, just a breeze from beneath, cold as the grave. That night the house woke up, the lights flickered, the temperature dropped, and Alex's mom screamed. He ran to her room. She was standing near the closet, shaking. "Someone was in here," she cried. "She was right here." Alex's eyes saw her, this little girl. "She's not trying to hurt us," Alex said quietly. "She's trapped." His mom stared. "How do you know that?" Alex didn't answer. Instead, he went to the crawl space and crawled inside with a flashlight. The air was thick with mold and silence, until he heard it again, a child's sobbing. Then his light landed on a rotting wooden box buried beneath a thin layer of dirt, a coffin, too small for an adult. When side-curled like a forgotten doll was the skeleton of a child, her faded dress still clinging to brittle bones. Clutched in her hands a letter. He unfolded it with shaking fingers. The words were smeared, but legible. "I'm sorry, Lily, I couldn't take it anymore. Daddy said no one would believe us, but I hear you crying. I'll come back one day, I promise." Evelyn. Alex's heart dropped. Evelyn wasn't Lily. She was Lily's sister, and the whispers weren't just Lily's, they were hers too. Back upstairs, the house groaned violently, wood snapping, glass shattering. Alex's mom screamed again. He bolted into the hallway and saw her levitating above the stairs, suspended by invisible hands. Below her, the floorboards split wide open. The house was opening its mouth and it wanted to feed. "No," Alex shouted. He held up the letter. "You don't need her. I know the truth now. You're not alone anymore, Lily." The air froze. Time slowed. Then the house went still. His mother fell into his arms. The split floor creaked closed on its own and a gentle voice whispered in the dust, "Thank you." They left Grimsby Lane the next morning. The house stood silent. Its boards no longer groaned. But when Alex looked back one last time, he saw a little girl in the attic window, smiling finally, at peace.